a free service for creating tests for certifications of new sales managers. And how to create it? Did you know that tests can be created on Google Forms? The easiest tool to learn. 99% of the inhabitants of the planet make them in it. You don't need to keep up with them. Let's first create together a full-fledged assessment of the study of the received material in 5 minutes. Go to your folder on Google Drive, name it whatever you want. I named the tests. It will store a table with answers and the editor of the form itself. Check access to the folder so that the necessary people have access to edit it. And public access was closed. Create a new form in this folder. In the folder itself, also create a table. If you already have a pre-prepared one, then you do not need to. Before creating a test, it is better to prepare yourself. Create a separate table with 2 columns, questions and answers. Write them down in advance. If you are working on a project, it is better to fill it out together with the owner or an expert on these issues. Keep life hacks for creating questions. The correct answer should be similar to the wrong one, and the wrong one should be as plausible as possible. This is the only difficulty in creating tests. Show your imagination and creativity to the maximum. Humor in the tests is also welcome. Or do you like formal communication? You can also add cats in a bag. These are such fragments of the test that only you know about, obviously hidden, false answers or secrets. I sometimes turn off the sound on the video, wait for someone to write to me about it, or make spelling mistakes in the question. If someone has written, then the interest check has been passed. Don't do 20 or more questions in one test. 10 is quite enough to check the mastering of the material. If a lot has accumulated, then it is better to divide them into several tests. The test should teach. Remember that. Let them go through it 10-20 times to fully answer all the questions correctly until they have mastered all the material more than one time with weak results. One time is not a test, it is a questionnaire. Your goal is to teach, not just to check the quality of what you have learned. Go back to the editor of the form you are creating. Add a new question. The first question is hanging like that, just fix it. The formats of the questions may be different. Short answer is a short string where you need to specify a short phrase or a number. I often use it for quantity reports. Paragraph is a field for detailed answers, usually used in questionnaires. For tests only if you need to get a detailed comment on the result. Multiple choice is a checkbox in which you can select only one correct option. The most popular in testing. But here, for complexity, it is better to choose the format of questions like choose one incorrect expression. These are considered the highest quality. Checkboxes, a checkbox with a choice of several possible answers. I use it often in the test. I give 8 possible answers, but you need to choose 5, for example, sales stages. And the question will be counted only when all 5 are correct. If at least 1 is incorrect, then the whole question does not count. Therefore, several are selected. It is better to indicate this in the description of the question. I give this description. How many points? So many correct answers. If the answers are 5 out of 8, then I give 5 points for this question. If 1, then 1. Drop-down is a list of prepared responses, similar to 1 from the list, but more compact. Minus, it is not possible to add the Add Other field, but it is not necessary in the tests. File upload, use if necessary to upload data, for example, a voice recording of the objection processing. I rarely use it. Use linear scale, fast data entry on the slider from 1 to 10. The maximum number can be reduced to quickly select a number. Example, rate the quality of the questions from 1 to 10. Multiple choice grid is an analog of a checkbox with one of the list, but at the same time a sign appears where you can give several answers to each option. It's convenient if you need to make it compact. There are smart guys who twisted the whole test into one such question. This format is not familiar to users. It doesn't work well in the mobile version, so try to avoid it. An example in the questionnaires is the level of proficiency in a foreign language, where there is a list of languages and different levels for each. The checkbox grid is the same thing, only now you can still select multiple answers to the same question. Use it to coordinate weekly schedules, where one column is the time and the headings are the days of the week. Date and time is an extremely useless tool since the time of delivery already falls into the table. It is only needed for questionnaires for entering the date of birth or for an appointment form. If there is a more practical application in the forms, write in the comments Add question, create a new field. It's obvious here. Import question, transfer from another test. I rarely use it because I can just create a copy of the entire form and edit it already. Add title and description is just adding a text field without a question for information or instructions. Add image. Who said that there can't be pictures in the tests? YouTube is full of such quizzes. Guess the movie by frame. What prevents you from asking the same question about your training materials? Or did you not have pictures and videos in your training? Add video. Add a link to the YouTube channel. It's cool if the question is asked in video format, but in practice the test takes longer to pass. If you have any thoughts where to wrap it in a test, or the question in a text video turns out to be long, then you can mess with the video format. This is often done for money in large companies. Add section is a transition to the next page of the test. In tests, it is better not to. I wrote above that it is better to make the test short. But in the questionnaires or in the reports, it's very good. The settings buttons in each type of questions are always different. Each type has its own. Moreover, you can also enter rules for entering. Then I will need to shoot one video for an hour to explain all the possibilities. But your time is more important. Therefore, let's move on to the questions themselves. In order for the regular form to become a test, you need to click this "Make this a quiz" button in the settings. And everything, yes, it's that simple. There is no need to collect mail. Outdated. Do you use the post office? I have 100 spam emails a day there. I open them only to confirm registration on some site. You can add different checkboxes in the settings. There is a detailed description under each checkbox. You can read, so there's no advice here. Moreover, this section is constantly being updated, and I do not know when you are watching this video. Maybe you already have an alien mind with artificial intelligence creating tests on people there. The only place where I will give recommendations is in the presentation section. Write the text in the confirmation message, which will be visible at the end. In this text, you can specify the next steps or a link to another test. It's also better to remove the results summary display if your test is long, so as not to scare you off. Under each question, you can click the answer key button, select the correct ones, and add explanations when you click on the wrong one. Also indicate how many points you have for the correct answer. By default, make all questions mandatory, just so that the answering person doesn't accidentally miss the question. If it does not, an error will appear. By the way, if you put it in a multiple grid, you will need to answer all the lines in the questions. Check the boxes everywhere. Should I shuffle the questions in the settings? It is mandatory if the test involves repassing to victory, but there is also a disadvantage in this. The test will then have to be divided into two sections. Because what is our first field? That's right, full name, hold the pie. Or an individual code, as in my case. If the full name is in the middle, it will be at least strange. Therefore, do the first section, full name, the second section questions. You can also add intermediate ones with department, city, age, gender identification, and other nonsense. But the test is not a questionnaire, the name is enough for us. Now connect with Google Sheets. It's necessary for all this to fall somewhere. Click the answers section and link the table. Create a new one or choose an existing one. That's all. A sheet with all the answers was created in the table. New answers from experts and viewers will fall right here. Well, how to work with a table is our other videos. Moreover, all these answers can be sent to a Telegram chat. We have such a bot and training too. The video is called Reporting. Look for it on our Telegram and YouTube channels. I would throw in hints, but you know how to search for the right information, right?